Today I'm going to share exactly how we earn trust with Google. You get Google's trust, they send you traffic equates to sales, leads, whatever it is that you want from Google. Every single year it gets harder and harder to rank a website. In other words, every single year it gets harder and harder to prove to Google that we are more trustworthy than our competitors. In this SEO game, we don't always have to be the best website in the world. I like to use the bear analogy. If we're running away from a bear, I just need to outrun you or whoever's with me. Hopefully I'm not by myself, right? Then I'm in trouble. But essentially, we just need to do better than your competitor. That competitor might be in your local suburb. It could be in your state, whoever your next competitor that we need to overtake. And everything comes back to trust with Google. In other words, does the robot trust you enough to send you the first batch of visitors to then hopefully those visitors engage with your product, your service, your brand, they hang around on your site, they click pages, they watch videos, they read the text or they skim the text, they see your reviews. So it's all about trust. Now, obviously the priority is to build trust with Google first, while building trust with the potential user that they might send. So I'm going to read out some of the ways that we're currently doing this. Look, these are the ways that we've always been doing this, just more than ever before. Do they matter when a company has a real brand with real people, real faces, with real citations, with history of the person? At the end of the day, it just comes down to Google needs to know who is, I don't want to say who's behind the site, but who's responsible for the site? Who is the main contact that if they need to contact somebody, who is the words responsible, right? So there is a term in SEO called EAT, which is essentially, which essentially stands for expertise, experience, authority, and trust. It's prove to me you're an expert in this space more than your competitors. Prove to me that you are more experienced in this space, that you've been doing this for longer. Prove to me that you are a high authority in this space so we can potentially trust you. If others have trusted you, we might consider trusting you. And when they consider trusting you, they do what's called like an A/B test, where they rank you a little bit higher, they send you a few visitors, they place you higher up on Google and see how users engage with your website versus competitors. And if they hang around on your website longer, if they inquire, Google sees all this. Most traffic is Google Chrome. And if it's not Google Chrome, Google still knows how long users hang around. They're buying data from all sorts of search engines. They know, they get it, right? So where do we begin? So in other words, trust is the most important aspect. Now, trust can be earned a number of ways. One is things that happen on the website. So proving to Google and showing to Google that you are trustworthy on this topic by using things like, we have completed 2,000 jobs. Here are the kind of jobs, showcasing the jobs, showing like project pages, in-depth pages where you're proving to Google that you're capable of doing such jobs. Things like blogs, guide-like pieces of content where you are diving into a certain topic and you're sharing with the world like a guide on how to use a brick, right? If you're a bricksmith, you build brick fences or brick homes, having content about which brick is best will benefit you, right? And while you're creating that content, you use words like, I have used bricks many times. I have built many brick walls many times. Here are my projects, meaning you're proving. So that's things that happen on the website. Now, a big factor is what happens off the site. It's literally, if you want the lightest light bulb in the city, you're probably going to need some serious electrical cables being wired to your house. If you want to have the most water, you're probably going to need some serious plumbing connected to your house. What does that mean? Backlinks. The more high quality backlinks that you have, the more Google will respect and consider trusting you. right? It's no longer the more backlinks you have, the higher you rank. It used to be. It's no longer the more words, bricks you have on the site, the more likely you are to rank. It used to be. Over the years, this algorithm gets more advanced, more blended, it has more data and more competitors, right? So the cost of entry's never ever been higher. But the strategy, I don't want to say it's never been simpler. The direction has never been simpler once you understand it. It's on-page things that you do on the site, and it's off-page things that you do off the site. So one of the contributing factors, and this is what we roll out, is be really clear who you are on your About Us page, your experience, where you are, what your numbers are, phone numbers, emails, different departments that you might have, privacy policies, terms and conditions, right? Information about company, your mission, the content creators, the editorial principles. So it's like, how do you guys choose your content? What do you write? How do you make the decisions? So in other words, if you have an agency running this stuff, you need to make aliases for each of the blog writers, for example, and what their experiences is and expertise in the space. So display detailed information about the authors on the website. So in this case, for a financial advisor, for accountants, a lot of the time, a lot of the content that goes up, I will actually author it to the financial advisor or the accountant, right? Because then I will place the accountant's author links, LinkedIn, citations, where they've been mentioned, if their articles are on an Accountant's Daily, or any awards that they've been won. So if Google reads that article and sees that it was written by an accountant of 20 years, here is his LinkedIn, here are the citations of where his work has been mentioned. Julio, Jules, come here. That's far more trustworthy than a user named blogger or team editor, right? So then goes things that when creating the content, we talk about first-hand experiences of doing that thing. Those tax returns that we did for such and such business, this is what we learned, this is what we did. These websites that Eugene has built, he has built this many of them. So in other words, you're not talking about it in a fluffy manner, you're talking about it as the authority that's just done the job. Schema markup is extremely important. If you're not sure what that is, look it up. You've got to have that on the author pages, you've got to have that on the blogs and other important pages on the website to tell the Google crawler what your website is about. The goal is to pave a red carpet for Google to visit your website, send the crawler, and easily understand what your website is about and what pages it has. A lot of the time, that means that the out-of-box themes, the most popular WordPress themes, and God help you if you're using Wix or Squarespace or Weebly for this kind of stuff in any somewhat competitive space, we literally have to custom code a lot of our stuff. We have to change the themes, we change the layouts. This is why we love using Beaver Builder Themer with the Astra theme, but a lot of the stuff, it's custom post types that we're using for this kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff isn't rocket science, it just makes sense. And while one might call it SEO and it can get quite technical, it's just about being a real brand. And what is the natural progression of a real brand? It is people that are running the show, founder-led, showcasing those people, demonstrating their experiences, giving Google an asset that delivers value to the world. Make that asset more valuable than your competitors. So it's about running that bear. Give it more than your competitors. Now, you should really start looking at your nearest suburb competitors if you're in the local space. A lot of the time, it's not that hard to beat them. It's when you go up against national sites or whole Melbourne or Sydney sites, especially in some of the more competitive spaces, that's when it gets hard. But you got to start somewhere, start chipping away at it. Look at it as SEO is building a taller building than your competitors. But if you got someone huge in mind, like the gyms franchise, you got to start somewhere. Start chipping away at those local suburb key terms or low-hanging fruit. It could be in the e-commerce space. It's the long-tail key terms with the right buying intent, and just prove to Google that you're trustworthy. Hope that helps.